NDP have also in many countries have this strategy. In Nepal, we have it's governed by three pillars. First one is economic empowerment and involvement of youth in economic growth, where UNDP has different projects. We have collaborated with Microsoft in this project called Idea Factory, where we give a platform for the IT and tech savvy young people to come there and start up their business or help them in their micro enterprises. So one thing is that. So and the third pillar is no. Second pillar is to help young people to participate in civic engagements. This can also include like mock parliament that I just described about, because we want the young generation of today to be involved in the civic engagement as much as possible. The third pillar that we have is of resilience. As you all know that 2015 was a black year for Nepal. The 25th April, there was a devastating earthquake that happened. After that, what UNDP has done is that we have many engineers that we mobilized at that time in partnership with the United Nations volunteer, which is called UNV. So at that time, UNDP gave the training to those engineers on debris management, how to clear the debris. Interns, the engineers also went to the community and they taught the same thing to the community people as well. Just because they don't always have to rely on the engineers. So we have that sort of project, and also what we are doing nowadays is we have this lecture series where where SDG Youth focal person and UNDP, we go to different colleges, different institutions, because that is the place where there are more number of youth. So we go there and we talk about SDGs, we try to mainstream and we try to give the importance how SDG can be an integral part of our lives. And also along with this, as Bhavanaji also mentioned, we are working in voluntary national review. If I had to talk about youth perspective, then ION, Association of Youth Organization of Nepal, has been leading with the support of UNDP and UNFPA on voluntary national review. This voluntary national review is a very important thing that we have to report to the high-level political forum, which is happening in July in New York, USA, because it's going to show what type of progress and what is the status of youth and what challenges youth of today are facing in terms of SDG, and what are the recommendations that youth need to give to the government and also to the UN agencies. So for now, I think I should stop, because if I keep on going, then I'll just ruin the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that is really helpful. Checking with Abhinavji about how much time we got before the... Okay, so if there are any questions, I'll like to request some questions and then we can continue the conversation within us. So I see a couple of hands up there, so I'd like to request some of my friends to maybe take the mics there.
My name is Deepak Adhikari. I'm a student by profession. My question is, the most important factor that has contributed to the birth of SDG is an emergence of lifestyle of 21st century. As an example, Americans consume about 90 kg natural resources a day, European do use 60 kg, and Asian do 40 kg, and African do use 10 kg around. The next element that gave birth to SDG is different gases. For example, 137 billion ton of carbon dioxide is nurtured to the earth every year, in which less developed countries like ours have contributed very less. India, one of the emerging country, and it has been projected that it will be the most powerful country by 2030. And it cannot be rejected that India has many population suffering from indiscrimination. The question always strikes me that, is it relevant to cry and shout for SDG sitting in a nook of a pond? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have any specific person with the question is directed, or is just general?
Talks to any panelist that can be
Thank you.
answered by any.
We'll take another question. I think there was a hand up there.
My name is Sachin and I'm a student too. My question is, SDGs also includes giving peace and justice to all. In the process, is it possible to match 100% satisfaction rate? For example, in a public protest, one's right to walk freely might be halted, while others' right to protest might be maintained and vice versa. What do we do in that case?
Okay, very important and very interesting questions. Any panelist would like to take a lead?
Uh, I can give you the question answer of the first person. Like he was talking of the consumption of the product from first world country, and then like going to the third world country, or we call in developed nations, underdeveloped and developing. So what we call, but it like they are producing more and also like consuming more as well. So in this situation, if we are implementing the SDG, we have to compromising with this issue, and we have to in terms of issue of the carbon emission, it's like they are also consuming more, and also they are giving to the all these things are developing nations. So we have to have a compromising with the first world country. Like they have to now, if we are implementing the SDG, so they have to compromise to consuming less consuming, and give space for the developing nations to achieve the SDG. Okay. Thank you. If you want.
I'll just add what Muhammad. I think that is the very biggest questions before SDG was adopted. There was Rio Plus, there was Zero Draft. There are lots of advocacy happening around the world, and the question was that how developed country will contribute, though they will carbon gas. Yeah, they are the users, and they have to contribute. They have to contribute resources to mitigate the climate justice. Something like that. So now SDG 17, goal number SDG 17 says that 0.9% of total GDP has to contributed by the all countries, not only the developed country but also the developing countries. That's why all countries will take ownership, and they will also allocate budget, and then SDG will only achieve. Previously in MDG, some developed country was committed to allocate the resources, but they did not provide it well. That's why the SDGs is very good in terms of allocating resources and having ownership. So I think we have to keep in mind that all the advocate, youth advocate from not only from this room, but also all the youth who are students, who are professors, who are campaigner. We have to be very serious on how government is working on that, how much money. Now also NPC just has launched the national budget, right? Nepal government, Ministry of Finance, they have allocated budget for one year. You have to look, how much money they have spent it for SDG. So we have to be aware on that, how international government or developed countries or developing countries, they are fulfilling their commitment or not. And regarding the question about peace, goal number 16 says that peace, justice, human rights, they all are together. If one people walking at the road, in a free way, and another people might also feel very difficult. They might hurt or something like that. So everything has to be very conscious or very sincere that what is their right, what are their duties, what are their responsibilities. So that is why the SDG is very much important, because it says about human rights, it says about the peace building, it says about democracy, it says about civic space. As my friend from Bangladesh is here, I would like to stress that civic space is shrinking more in Bangladesh than in Nepal. You may know about the Adhikar. Do you know this organization called Adhikar in Bangladesh? Do you know? How many of you? Yeah. Yeah, you know. And my colleague, Adul, you may know, Adul, he was arrested in 2013 because he was working in torture issue, something like that. My some colleague who was in Bangladesh to monitor the project, and he deported to Nepal. And one colleague from Bangladesh, he was in Malaysia for 10 days human rights training, but he was kept in airport for 8 years without any reason, 8 hours without any reason, like just investing or something like that. So SDG, another thing, another perspective, like SDG says that the equality not only within the country but also another country also we have equality. In that sense also we have to take very seriously. SDG is not only achieving development goal but also the human rights, democracy, peace building, civic space. It specifically it told that like SDG before MDG, MDG they has mentioned that public-private partnership. Now SDG says public-private and CSO partnership. So we have to look whether our representation is ensured or not in the government agencies, in program, in planning, all the all the institutions we have to be presented there. Our physical presence, our the moral presence should be there. So we have to very aware about our roles and responsibility, and we have to advocate for that.
Very short while responding his question, like, will there be 100% satisfaction on peace and justice? There is nothing impossible. Let me share that. The word impossible is itself impossible, right? One thing is that, and each individual is free to work by moving their hands, but none of them are allowed to punch in anyone's nose. That is what peace and justice say. You are free. You can fly, but you cannot capture others' wing. If each of us will be responsible on it, like we will do our responsibility, we will ask for our demand, but meanwhile we will not harm anyone else. In that case, in that terms, peace and justice will be 100% achieved, and it will be satisfied to all of us. Thank you.
Okay. So responding to the second question, as goal number 16 is one of the important mandate of UNDP as well, and we have been working there. We have not talked, I think in our conversations that we did today, we didn't mention that every SDG is very integral to each other. Each goals are very much interrelated to each other. We have to know that. If you want to walk in the road freely, and if you want to be sure that you can't be punched, there should be an infrastructure